This video will contain spoilers for The Banshees of Inisherin. Can we not do it like that? That sounds weird.
Have you been rowing?
Have you been rowing?
Have we been rowing? Well, you are rowing. It does look like we're rowing.
You can't just stop being friends with a fella.
He's dull, Siobhan.
But he's always been dull.
There's no question. The Banshees of Inisherin is one of the best films of this year. Director Martin McDonagh has reunited with Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson from In Bruges to create what is a film that will be talked about and discussed for years to come. It's grim, it's disgusting in places, there are dismembered body parts.
I have a set of shears at home, and each time you bother me, I'll take one of my fingers off with them. Starting from now. But shush like, Polly. You know, shush like.
Yeah, I'd shush like.
It is fantastically, brilliantly hilarious. There are elements of Father Ted in there. Dominic, played by Barry Keoghan, could well be Dougal's grandfather. You have to stretch things a bit, but...
You're still bad, Dominic, out!
You said back until April.
But what do we know?
April?
Well, put that stick outside anyways, and don't be bothering the women.
There's women.
It's also a film with a lot of meaning and a lot of subtext. Obviously, you have the comparison between the Irish Civil War going on the mainland, which is only seen through tiny glimpses and flashes and bits of discussion in the dialogue, and the feud between Colm and Porrick at the centre of the plot. Then there is repeated imagery of birds throughout the film, as well as religious, spiritual imagery. There is a repeated view of a cross and talk of sin and judgment and all that kind of thing. And then, of course, you have the Banshees themselves. But what is a Banshee, I hear you ask? Well, a Banshee, according to this, is a female spirit in Irish folklore who heralds the death of a family member, usually by screaming, wailing, shrieking or keening, which is a form of a kind of mourning lament. A death lament, not a lament that happens in the morning. Banshees can be benevolent or malevolent creatures that are tied to fairy lore. Benevolent banshees are known to cry out as a warning to a person's impending death. And yes, we do see a character in the film that could well be a banshee, Mrs. McCormack, an old lady who dresses in robes, who's a little bit weird, and who people hide from, people hide behind walls from her, but towards the end of the film she delivers an omen of death. She says that 2 people on the island of Inisherin are going to die. She is, I suspect, intended to be the Banshee of the title. But notice it says Banshees. Banshees, plural. Now it's reckoned in the film that there are no Banshees on Inisherin. Banshees don't exist. Although Mrs. McCormack, her presence there, it kind of alludes to the idea that this isn't true. But then Colm says something else. He says that maybe the Banshees don't portend death anymore. Maybe they're not an omen of death anymore. Maybe they're just now content to observe, to be amused by the actions of the people on the island, to be entertained by them. And yeah, we see this in parts of the film as well. We see Mrs. McCormick sometimes in the background as a blurry shadow, sometimes more explicitly standing, watching, observing. But I think this also hints at something else. It hints that maybe also, if the Banshees are watching, if they're observing, if they're being entertained, maybe we're the Banshees. Maybe the audience are the Banshees of Inisherin. Going back to the portents of death, we can give this a more metaphorical meaning. By starting the film, by starting the feud that takes place between Porrick and Colm, we set in motion a chain of events that leads to the two deaths on the island. We portend those deaths by starting the film, by setting these events in motion.
What are you doing home? Brother, what are you doing home?
I knocked on Colm's sonny Larry, he's just sitting there.
Sitting there doing what?
Sitting there doing nothing. Smoking.
Was he asleep?
He was smoking, Siobhan. How do you smoke in your sleep?
Those are just my thoughts on it. If you like this video, don't forget to click the subscribe button and check out this for another video, and I will see you sometime later.